Most people in life, we really feel like the level of stress in our life comes to how much of life do you feel like you control, or how much does life control you? Do you tend to control more of what's going on, or events controlling you? It's very easy to have those events start to take control unless we take control of what's between our ears, our own mind. You see, what you and I focus on massively affects how we feel, whether we're thriving or surviving. If you focus on what you can't control, if you focus on the past, if you focus on what's missing from your life constantly, that pattern of focus will make you frustrated, overwhelmed, depressed. It won't even matter if you're, taking antidepressants. If you keep focusing on what you can't control, what's missing from your life, you're going to feel depressed still. You can take as many antidepressants as you want. Focus equals power. If you want to thrive, you got to focus on what you can control. You got to focus on the difference you can make. You got to focus on what's already in your life that you're grateful for. And I have a little process here at the end that's my gift to you, which is just a simple ritual that can bring you back to this place. So one thing that leaders do is they focus on the things they want. They focus on what they can control. They focus on what they have. They have a combination of gratitude, strength, and commitment. They really unleash the second element. They have a vision. They have something that they're after, something they want to create, something they want to contribute, something they want to give, something they want to make happen. And that's when you become a creator again instead of a manager of life. And it's easy to lose that sense of vision in your life through disappointments. Hey, we've all had them. You get all excited about something and then, life seems to crush it. Somebody betrays you. You betray yourself. You don't follow through, and then you don't trust yourself at the same level. What makes somebody a leader is they build this certainty, and not only with focus, not only do they get a vision for what they want, but they bring that certainty in their body. Listen, if you've ever been to one of my live events, you know that one of the greatest things about, let's say, Unleash the Power Within, is you go through a weekend where you literally train your nervous system to have certainty. I mean, how the heck do we get people to storm through fire? It's not about firewalking. It's about getting yourself to be able to take action in the areas of your life that normally you would more than hold back, where your brain would take over and say, I can't do this. Are you crazy? Somebody else did it, but not me. What we do is get people in a state where you're going to follow through, where you're going to face your fear and do it anyway. And the way we do that, besides changing people's focus, showing you how to direct and control that focus, is also by learning how to use your body as the tool to change your state. Listen, if I drop my shoulders enough, if I were to breathe shallow enough, if I were to slow down and say, I don't know, I'll give it a try, go into this state, I'd be like Samson getting his hair cut off, right? Because what we don't realize is that our mind is directly affected by the way we use our body. If you change the tempo in which you move, if you change the way you breathe, if you change the way you use your voice, you literally change your biochemistry. And the one thing that you'll see that's the same with the greatest golfer in the world, or the greatest musician, or the greatest, actor, is they have this sense of certainty. And it isn't born. It's something that you make as a habit. You drill it into yourself. I sure as heck didn't have that sense of certainty growing up, not even close. And what I found myself doing early on is I felt so uncertain, I couldn't get myself to do anything. So I developed these rituals of certainty. I would go on these runs, and on the run, even though I didn't feel like it, I would do these incantations where I would say out loud over and over again, God's wealth is circulating in my life. His wealth flows to me in avalanches of abundance. All my needs, desires, and goals are met instantaneously by infinite intelligence. For I'm one with God, and God is everything. And I would say that over and over and over for 30 minutes. Just crazy. And I would envision that God's circulating, His wealth circulating my life, and I'd see the wealth of love and friendship and impact and growth and economics and all these things, physical fitness and aliveness. I'd see this wealth of abundance flowing, oceans of it, into my life as I went and did these things. If you envision something clearly enough and you bring certainty to it over and over again, if you engage your physical body in a simple ritual, it could be as little as 10 minutes a day. I call it my hour of power, or 15 minutes to be fulfilled. And all you do is you take 5 minutes, and in those first 5 minutes, you get yourself moving, and you get yourself in a state of certainty in the way you move and the way you breathe. You focus on what you're excited about in your life. You focus on what you want to create, what you want to bring to your children, what you want to bring to the world. And it changes your state. We all know what happens when you're out of state. When you're burnt out, when you're frustrated, when you're overwhelmed. You snap at people sometimes, feel bad about it. You didn't mean to. It's just the state you're in. So to thrive this year, take uncertainty and bring certainty to it. To thrive this year, get what I call a compelling future. Pick anything. a goal, a dream, a desire, something that excites you so much that you're going to feel yourself compelled to actually find a way to make it happen. You've done it before. You've gotten obsessed. You don't even know how you did it, but things happen and you've got yourself to where you want to be. Let's make that happen this year, right now. Regardless of it's later in the year, or the beginning of the year you're watching this, I made this so that hopefully I'd remind you of what you know, that you're made to thrive, not survive. What's the third element that makes somebody an effective leader, makes them a thriver, even when the environment is crazy? Well, they bring certainty to uncertainty. That's leadership skill by focus and physiology, by the way they move, by the way they breathe, by what they do. They bring that certainty because there's something they want so bad that it makes them overcome the fear. They focus on what they want to create, what they want to give, not, oh my God, what if I fail? But the third thing they do is they're decisive. Listen, nothing changes your life like decision. I mean real decision though. Not where people go, well, I'll try, or I kind of decided I want to give this a shot. The word decision comes from incision in Latin, to cut off from. And when you make a decision, you cut off from any possibility except the thing you've committed to. As I always tell people, if you want to take the island, burn the boats. I mean, if you make a real decision, every bit of you is committed to something, it's amazing how life will move for the force of nature, the human being, man or woman, that says, this is how it will be. I don't know how I'm going to get it done, but I know this is what I'm going to do. I know why I'm going to do it. The Martin Luther King has said, any man who hasn't figured out what he's willing to die for isn't fit to live. If you can find something you're so excited about, if you can find something that will drive you with that certainty, and you add to that decisiveness, you can change anything. If you don't like your job, change it. Oh, but there's no jobs out there. Bull, right? Change it, start the job, change who you are in the job where you are, and enjoy yourself. Change your perception, change your appreciation, change your gratitude, change your daily rituals so you start to enjoy things, change what you notice, change from trying to get something to trying to give something. The whole game will change. Decisiveness is the ability to make a decision even though you're uncertain once again. What keeps people from making a decision? You're a failure. I remember I had a chance to get to know General Norman Schwarzkopf during the time in which he was commanding our forces, an amazing man. And he would step over there in Desert Storm, as they called it in those days, and he could command a guy that was just brilliant. An officer who came out of, Harvard or background of Princeton, and he could take a kid from the inner city and just have that same command and connection with them. And I think part of what they respected about him is he respected everyone himself. He had this connection with people. But the other thing everybody respected was the man was decisive. And I asked him where he developed that decision-making capability, just the willingness to just make a decision and trust. And he said, Tony, I'll tell you where. I worked for this general when I was very young, and I was his assistant. And he said, I remember there was a research project that the Pentagon had worked on for that time. He said, if I remember right, like 5 years. And there were arguments. It was a very strategic decision for where the Defense Department was going to move towards in the future, how they were going to operate. And he said there were arguments for both sides. And for 5 years, they'd gone back and forth, and nothing was resolved. And they came to the general that he was serving at that time as the assistant. And they had a meeting, and the meeting lasted 1 hour. And at the end of the hour, the general stood up and said, do that. And he picked one of the two, and he did it with absolute certainty. And in the military, you salute, and you take your orders, and you go. I said, but Schwarzkopf said he was just curious, really curious, to know, how could he get up and make a decision like that? Because Schwarzkopf said, I was the one doing all the research. And there was loads and loads of research, and I know he hadn't read it all. And he said, it bothered me that he'd just make a decision like that without knowing everything he could possibly know. And so he said, Schwarzkopf said, I finally went to him and said, sir, permission to express myself freely. He said, permission granted. He said, sir, how could you make that decision? He said, there are reams and reams and reams of information. You had a 1 hour meeting. You heard, 20 minutes of discussion for both sides, and you decided the entire direction where things are going to go for the armed services, for this part of the armed services. And he said, how could you possibly do that? You don't have all the information. He said, no one does. In fact, information is important to an extent, but ultimately action is what needs to be taken, and someone needs to decide. He goes, well, how do you know you made the right decision? He said, no one has made a decision, young man, in 5 years and half a decade. What I decided will be right, because either we'll put all our resources and we'll make it right, or if it's wrong, we'll discover that quicker than sitting on the fence for another 5 years, and we'll find out it's not right, and we'll change. Leadership is making decisions. If you're going to lead your own life, you got to make decisions. And what Schwarzkopf said is he realized rule number one in life is when put in charge, when put in command, take charge. Make the decision. If it's right or wrong, you're going to find out quicker than if you sit around. And the interesting thing is the more you make decisions, the better you get. What makes somebody a leader? What makes somebody a leader is they're willing to make the decision other people won't make. They want to put themselves on the line, knowing that you're going to be wrong in some of those decisions, but you're going to find out quicker and you can simply adapt and change your approach to still get where you want to go. Be decisive. Don't like your body? Change it. Don't like your relationship? Change it. Start by changing you. If you've changed you, it's still not right, then change it. But the way you make any change happen starts with a decision. All action, all results are mothered or fathered, if you would, by a decision. What's one small decision you can make right now that would take you in a direction you know you need to go? What's a big decision that might be really tough, but if you really made it, truthfully, it would take you on a new direction in your life, because whatever direction you head into will lead to an ultimate destination or destiny. When you know what's right, it's time. When you're still fearful, it's still time. You want to change your life? Decide. Decide something you're going to do. Decide something radical. Commit an act that moves you forward instead of thinking more, because we all can get caught up. I tell people, you get in your head, you're dead. The brain is a great thing to strategize with, but there's a point in which you got to get back in your heart and you got to put yourself on the line and do something. So if you're going to thrive this year, bring certainty to your decision making by just putting yourself in that state and trusting. Trust your creator, not just a manager of life. What do you have to do? Get a vision for what you want. What else? Decide. And step 4, real quick, act. There is no such thing as a decision without action. A real decision, you cut up things off and you make it happen. You do something. And I've always found in my life, never leave the sight of making a decision that's something that's important without doing something in that moment that commits you to follow through. Take some action in that moment. Because otherwise, here's what happens. You get excited or something makes sense to you. You're passionate about it. And you go, I'm going to go do this. And then you go home and you get caught up in emails and phone calls and other people needing things from you. The next thing you know, you're out of state and you don't follow through. Has it happened to you before? I can promise you if it hasn't, it will in the future. People that succeed, when an opportunity is there, they trust. They trust. If I'm going to thrive, this is here in my life for a purpose. Life isn't happening to me. Life is happening for me. And even this pain or challenge or this opportunity is something I got to find a way to make use of. I need to make a decision and I need to do something right now to move things forward in the direction of what I really want for my life. Even if I don't know the final destination, I need to move in that direction. I need to take some form of action. Most people, they have all these visions. Maybe they start to make a little sort of decision, but they don't make a real decision because they don't act on it. And if you don't act on it, your ideas, your dreams will die in your mind. They'll die on your lips. And think about it. Most people in North America, around the world, the Western world, are they truly fit, strong, and healthy? Do they truly have a relationship that's totally passionate? Do they love their work? Are they economically free? The vast majority, you and I both know the answer is no. If you want to be like most people, then what you got to do is figure out how to survive. If you want to lead, you got to thrive. And you have that capability, and you're probably already doing it. I'm probably speaking to the choir to some extent. If you're still watching this right now, you can turn me off as a raging maniac who's on a rant, because that's what I am. I'm on a rant right now. A rant to call to your soul to say, no matter how great life is, take it to the next level. Find the way to thrive on the very things that stop other people in their tracks. Thrive on what produces fear inside you and in other people. Thrive on something that you envision that you have a higher purpose for. Thrive by being decisive. Thrive by taking massive action. And if the massive action doesn't work, if what you try doesn't work, just simply try something else. And if that doesn't work, try something else. If that doesn't work, try something else until you find what works. Now you can speed that up by modeling, by finding somebody who's already getting the results that you want to get in your life. Somebody who already has lost 30 pounds and kept it off. They aren't lucky, it's been 5 years. Somebody who started with nothing and now they're financially free and their family has an extraordinary quality of life. Why not figure out what they do? Somebody who truly is happy, not because everything's going their way, because they find a deeper meaning and a richness in everything around themselves, whether it be their children or nature or even problems. Because obviously, if we have no problems, we feel dead inside. Problems can either destroy you or call you to become more. If you look at the biggest challenges in your life, if you brought certainty to it, if you brought a vision beyond the problem, if you made some decision of what you're going to change, even if you didn't know how, And if you took immediate action with enough intensity, massive action, you probably found the cure-all. You probably found a way to adapt and get where you want to be. That's what thriving is really all about. But the ultimate thriving is not just breaking through and making things happen. The ultimate thriving for this year or any year of your life is to remember the secret to living is giving. It's to, as corny as that sounds, it's to connect to something bigger than yourself. And it can be done so easily. It can be done right there at home. Instead of running past your kids, looking at your phone, it's stopping connecting. It's kissing your spouse in a way where those sparks happen, like when you first met, instead of how you doing and moving on. Most of us are moving so fast, trying to manage our lives, that we're not thriving. Thriving comes with depth. You're not going to find thriving in a friendship that happens in milliseconds online. Nothing wrong with it. It's great connection. But a depth of a real friendship is not your Facebook friend. It's not the same as being with somebody and actually having your full attention, not while you're monitoring what's going on your cell phone. Just the experience of being with somebody. But contributing your caring, contributing your interest, contributing, in a simple way, finding some way to give love, attention, care, joy, or happiness to any human being. It doesn't have to be working in a soup kitchen, but that can be pretty wonderful too. Volunteering an hour in a month, an hour in a week can change a person's life. But it can be outside world. It can also be really on the inside world. If you want to thrive, then you got to remember life's not about me, it's about we. You already know it. It's in your soul. It doesn't matter what words I say. If I'm saying something that's BS, you can feel it. If I'm saying something's true, you can feel it in your heart and soul. And the thing that's true is, we're here for more than just ourselves. And we feel most alive when we're doing something that's beyond ourselves, when there's something where we think that, God, by this interaction, someone's going to feel more loved. Somebody's going to feel more lifted. Someone who is down is going to get up. Someone's going to know that they're cared for. Or I'm going to help somebody physically, food, skills, ability, talent, whatever. Helping a stranger or helping someone you love, help comes from a place where you're abundant, you're not scarce. So the most important time to help is when you think you need it. So next time you're really feeling down and out, maybe find somebody else who's much worse off, because there's always somebody there if you look around, and see what you can do to help them. And watch what that does to change your entire spirit, psychology, and state. You'll find yourself thriving when you step into a life of meaning beyond you. And ironically, life's about you too. And when you're in that thriving state of growing and giving, in that state of certainty, in that state of a vision of what you want with a sense of purpose, in that state of decisiveness, in that state of action, in that state of giving, all hell could be breaking loose and you're still going to thrive. All hell could be breaking loose and you're having a great time. So next time you're feeling uncertain, remind yourself you're a creator of life, not a manager of circumstances. And I hope this little trigger will remind you that also what'll help you have this is not just this video that you watched here, which maybe watching it again will be helpful, maybe not, it's up to you. But if you get the heart of what I'm really sharing, it leads to the end to understanding that our lives are a reflection of our rituals. And if somebody tells me this is their dream, this is their goal, I say, that's wonderful. Tell me your plan, but more importantly, let me see your rituals. And we all have rituals, whether you know it or not. Rituals equal results. If you're overweight, it's because your rituals. Just find out what they are and change them. Your rituals are to get up every morning and go to Starbucks and have a mocha smoke, whatever the hell it is you have, and a bunch of carbs and whoever knows what. It's not hard to figure out your blood sugar is going to be dropping and you're going to be looking for another coffee a few hours later. That doesn't create a life of energy that's on fire. That creates a place where you're riding the roller coaster of how much energy you have for now. There's an unlimited level of energy with a different ritual. When you start out your day doing what I call really my hour of power or my 15 minutes to be fulfilled. So 3 or 4 days a week, 5 days a week, it took 5 or 10 or 15 minutes. One every now and then, you'll get so much momentum. You'll give yourself an hour for yourself, an hour to connect to what matters most, an hour to be grateful, an hour to get strong, working out, at least 15 minutes. I'm going to tell you, it'll frame your life in a different level and you'll find yourself thriving. So take a look at what rituals you have that don't work. What might be some new rituals? Like, instead of focusing on what you don't have, being truly grateful for what you do have. Instead of focusing on what you can't control, think what you can do right now to participate in your own rescue, not waiting for someone else to do it. Rituals define us. And so my hope is maybe these 5 things to thrive can trigger you to get in a state where you create some new rituals and they will create the habits and the experiences of the life that you desire and that you deserve. So that's my rant. I hope it touched you. If it didn't, I apologize because my intent is pure. Blessings to you, and I hope I have a chance to serve and see you soon, maybe at an event or somewhere else in the world. And live strong and live with passion.